What's up, everyone?
Yo!
Welcome to the
10th baby!
episode of the Nothin but Net show. What's up, Mikey?
Not much, Sean. How you living?
Me, I'm excited because this is the 10th episode. We had to make it special for our fans.
Ooh, y'all don't even know what you're about to get.
Should we drop it? Should we do it now?
I mean, we love y'all, so yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Carlos, roll the clip. You guys are getting a look at our first ever merchandise drop, which is in collaboration with Tim Sada Training. Tim Sada is not only a close friend of mine, but of the show as well.
Tim Sada Training is a private training company that does one-on-one training as well as training in groups, and we're so happy to keep this collaboration going. Oh, I cannot tell you how long we waited to drop these on y'all, baby.
Once I got the design text to my phone, I wanted to tweet it out right there, but Mikey told me patience, and we can finally share with you guys. We're so excited for that.
Yeah, so now that they are out, you guys can order it, the hoodie or the long, so DM us on Twitter at the NBN Show, or you can hit us on Instagram or Facebook at the Nothin but Net Show.
Make sure to specify whether you want a long sleeve or a hoodie and what size you want. We have a packed show in store for you guys. We're going to be discussing the end of the Jimmy Butler saga and his new home. We're going to be discussing the tension with the Warriors that's going down. We're going to be discussing Duke, LaMelo. We're going to be discussing it all.
We'll also be returning our question to the fans, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But first, a word from AJM Performance.
AJM Performance. Do you want to train like the pros do? AJM Performance is the right fit. They can help you chase your goals and accomplish them.
You can contact them by their Instagram at AJM_performance, or you can send a call or a text message to 786-370-1387. Hit up AJM Performance if you're trying to get that boost.
Go out and become the best you.
On November 12th, the Warriors lost. Which is news in of itself, but what happened at the end of regulation in that loss is actual bigger news. With time expiring, Draymond Green not only stole the rebound from Kevin Durant, he proceeded to dribble down the court and ended up getting tripped up. Personally, I'm not really sure what his intentions were, but it led to a huge argument between him and Kevin Durant because, as seen in the video, Kevin Durant's clapping at him, asking for the ball, and KD just wouldn't, or Draymond just wouldn't pass it for whatever reason. The two argued, and it led to Draymond saying some obscene things regarding KD's upcoming free agency, but not only that, his overall manhood. Draymond was suspended for a game, came back for a game in which the two played, and neither of them played well. And now he's out for, quote, some time from Steve Kerr due to a lingering toe injury, which personally I don't believe. Now, what was your initial reaction to that whole debacle?
So at first watching, I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
what
the
was
tie
he,
game?
I don't understand what his
plan was.
Yeah, right?
Really like, Clay was running with him, but Draymond's also running into a pack of three defenders.
Was he driving? Because he was going towards the paint.
And I don't really like that idea of him. And he's not going to spot up. So the fact that he's not one-dimensional, but offensively, like, scoring-wise, he sort of is. Like, everything is at the rim.
No, he's not going to pull up from three.
Everyone's like, okay.
Whenever he's wide open from three, he just waits for a screen to be set.
Yeah, worst case, he's like, oh, dang it, I got to shoot this. But I wasn't sure really what the plan was. Now, I saw some people saying maybe if KD ran with him, you have him and Clay. But, it's another option giving it to the best player in the game.
He was right. KD was going for the rebound.
Yeah.
He didn't have to
and KD
steal
had
the rebound from him.
at that point. He had a triple-double. Like, he was backpacking you guys. Give him the ball.
Yeah.
Worst case, he misses. Cool. Best case, he makes it. I'll take KD with the ball and whatever outcome over anyone. Yeah.
Right.
Unless it's a Clay shot, KD, I want KD making my decision. I don't care how we go out after that point.
So, it's been reported that some of the things he said were repeatedly calling him the B word, saying that there's no reason, and these are all allegations, of course, because nobody had their microphone right up to Draymond, but repeatedly calling him the B word, claiming you don't need to be questioning my decision making. We were winning before you. We'll win after you leave. We don't need you. Things of that nature. So if you're Kevin Durant, how do you react to that? Because we know Kevin to be a little more emotional, a little more, I would say, defensive.
He's
I don't
like,
know. We've seen him. Obviously, he admitted to having the burner accounts.
Yeah.
And tweeting in his defense and tweeting about Russ and things like that. Mm-hmm. So we've known him to be that type of guy. So how do you think he would react to being called those things? Is this the beginning of the end for the Warriors?
I think he just looks at it like, are you serious? Like, who called who? You called me because you blew a 3-1 lead. Right?
I think that's the most ironic part about it.
Like, you like Draymond, you blew the 3-1 lead because
in the parking lot,
you
right
couldn't
after
keep
game.
your hands to yourself when you had to hit LeBron in his nether regions after kicking Steven Adams in his nether regions. Like, you called me. You said, oh, we beat them, but there was no Kyrie and Kevin Love. Oh, this is a lot different now. Mm. Oh, we have the same amount of All-Stars. Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
You wanna come play with us?
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Durant made them untouchable. Like, I think the Warriors were beatable. Like, now they're untouchable.
Right. Like, definitely. And I think it's so ironic that Draymond Green, who, again, has been confirmed and reported that after Game 7, went to the parking lot, called Kevin Durant in the parking lot. So he was the person to get KD through the door, and he might be the same person to get KD straight out the door.
Not so sure about it because Draymond's so emotional. I feel like every single year since probably age 8, he's had a blow up like this. At Michigan State,
I agree, but this
was out in the public. Now, again, I don't really understand the "we'll win without you." Let me read you Kevin Durant's stats the last 2 finals. So last year, 29, 11, and 7.5. The year before that, 35, 8, and 5. What Warriors doing that?
To Draymond's point, they do have a ring without him.
Against one.
They have a ring without him, and they won 73 games without him.
One ring without him. Mm-hmm. And 1 blows series without him. With him, they lose 1 game the entire postseason. The next year,
definitely.
They sweep
there's
the
no
finals.
Debate. I don't think there's any debate that they're a better team with Kevin Durant.
They were
no debate.
Touchable. Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant almost knocked them off. Right. LeBron James knocked them off with Kyrie Irving. With Kevin Durant there, no one we saw the Rockets get 3 with some injuries on both sides.
No,
that was and they got worse.
Get worse. Yeah, there's no competition.
No one's in more than a 6-game series. The Warriors, as they are currently constructed, no team.
Yeah, there's no competition for them. I do feel that this can be the beginning of the end. I think that depends on Draymond. I think that depends on Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
this did happen earlier in the season, so they will have time to work it out. But it's going to be very interesting watching the Warriors the rest of the way.
Yeah, we'll see. Now, as Jamar has already stated, Jimmy Butler finally got traded. He has a new home. Is the process over? Jimmy Butler is in Philadelphia. Now, they send over a package including Dario Saric and Robert Covington as well as a draft pick. So, Jamar, where do you think this puts Philly in the standings now?
Trust the process.
Really
Once this move happened, I tweeted. If you can bring up my tweet, I tweeted, I love this move from the Sixers. The Eastern Conference playoffs is going to be intense. And to answer your question, where does this put them? I'm not going to hop right on the bandwagon. Mm-hmm. They've only played just a couple games. I'm not going to react too fast. Yeah. But I will say this puts them right at the top of the East. Mm-hmm. So before, we were talking a 2-man race. We were talking Toronto and the Celtics. Most people were just talking the Celtics. Mm-hmm. But after the Celtics' slow start, it's mostly been Toronto and the Celtics. Now, a new force has arrived. Yeah. It is Toronto, the Celtics, and the Sixers, and the rest. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's debatable. And I think the Sixers. Now, I will mention they did lose a lot of shooting.
Yeah.
And they're going to struggle with that because Jimmy Butler can shoot, but he's not a 3-point specialist.
Yeah.
Robert Covington was that, and he played defense as well. Jimmy Butler's a better defender. So I see areas in which they improved. They certainly got a star.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a better big 3 in the East than Philadelphia's big 3.
Yeah, you can't really argue that.
I don't know that. I mean, the closest one would be Kyle Lowry,
Serge and
Kawhi. Right. I don't think that touches Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I think they're a force to be reckoned with. I think they can acquire shooting throughout the season. And I think that this was the perfect move at the perfect time for Philadelphia because they will have the remainder of the season to gel and make everything work.
Yeah. No, I definitely see every point you made. Again, at first I saw Toronto and Boston, and then I saw like Philadelphia and Milwaukee like sort of in the review.
Right.
Like waiting for something to slip up or maybe like making that trade. And what Philly going to do? They made that trade. Even I think this really helps a lot with that young core. Mm-hmm. And as Kyrie Irving said about the Celtics, that we should go get a vet that can understand that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Which, by the way, that's kind of what LeBron was, but that's a different story.
I think the fact they brought in Jimmy for that helps as well because it's, like you said, the lockdown defense. Now they have a perimeter threat besides Ben Simmons, who can really only drive, and the jumper's not there, so you don't have to guard him 15 feet out. Jimmy Butler, you have to guard the whole time.
Yeah.
And he's a leader. With this Philly
team...
He's
a dog.
Yeah, the way this Philly team works, the way it seems like they work, is they are all about criticism, healthy criticism to each other. They're not like Embiid's not going to hear Ben say something and be like, "Man, I'm not going to give him the ball." And let me
comment on that because we saw Jimmy Butler in a post game interview say he loves this team. Mm-hmm. Everyone's about winning, and he specifically stated you can get on them, you can make comments about them, and everyone takes it well. Nobody takes it personally. Do you think those were shots at his old teammates in Minnesota?
I think it was a little bit of shade.
Shade, definitely the shade for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he took his shot, and this whole like off season he's been talking about it, and like throughout the season as well. And then when Tom Thibodeau goes and continuously plays him the amount of minutes after they allegedly had a conversation that the minutes were going to get lessened, he was like, no. And so Philly, it's like, okay, now I actually have a shot at making the finals because of the Timberwolves. Like they had the talent, but you're in the conference of Golden State. It didn't matter.
Yeah, there was no chance at all. They have a legitimate chance to make the finals, and also I believe that Jimmy Butler plays best when he is the number one offensive option.
Yeah.
In Minnesota, it was really a question as to whether he was or not. Was it him? Was it Cat? Yeah. Was it even Andrew Wiggins? I still think they're trying to figure that out exactly, although I think they are finally realizing, okay, we really need to feature Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah. But Jimmy Butler is undoubtedly the premier offensive option, which is insane because you have Joel Embiid right next to him. And I say that because Jimmy Butler is the guard. So the guard will
he's the more ball touches. Yeah.
Exactly.
Embiid, like we're not saying Embiid can't go get buckets because
he's gonna still get his numbers.
Yeah, he's still gonna rack them. But he can put the paw up, get it on the block, or he can catch at the elbow and do something where Jimmy Butler can bring the ball up. Ben Simmons can bring the ball. So Ben Simmons also gets a retrieval of
he'll
like
have the ball for a significantly less amount of time.
Yeah, especially
because even if he gets in the post, he'll get it, turn around and shoot.
Yeah, if he doesn't like it, he can dish it back out instead of dishing it back where he has to think, all right, I can give this to Ben, but Ben's already 20 feet out.
Right.
He really doesn't have an option yet. Right. He can give it back to Jimmy and say, okay, I can clear out, I can move Jimmy. If I get in a better spot, Jimmy can give it to me. If not, he can do what he did against Charlotte. Literally, that end of that Charlotte game was everything they got.
I was just about to say,
Kemba had the 60 piece.
I was just about to say, speaking of the end of games, the Sixers got something that they drastically needed. Mm-hmm. If you watched going back last year to the Celtics series,
very stagnant at the end of games.
At the end of the games, nobody knows what to do, and the ball just keeps going to Embiid in the post, and he gets doubled, and then nobody else can do anything. Now you have Jimmy Butler, who is a bona fide 100% clutch player in the league.
Like, it doesn't faze him. He wants that opportunity.
Exactly. So having him, I think, will help him beat a lot. Like I mentioned in my tweet, like I've mentioned throughout this show, I really feel as though the Sixers made the perfect move. If they can acquire just a little bit more shooting throughout the season. Year.
Like, you can even
I'm sure they will.
And JJ Redick's
doing so hot. JJ Redick's looking.
What happens if you go call for Kyle
Korver?
Yeah, or Kyle Korver. You can make calls around the league. Like, there are teams that are not trying to win. And again, don't get me wrong, Kemba had 60. Kemba's been amazing this year. But Jimmy got the one play he needed with the block, came back down the other end after the timeout, got the bucket. Before this, no one on Philly would have been able to guard Kemba.
Right.
No one would have been able to take that shot. Because
that game,
JJ can't do that.
That game definitely illustrated Jimmy Butler's direct
They needed that step. They weren't like, here's distance away. They're like right here.
Like I said, it was the Celtics and the Raptors,
and, they were like
and right then here. The Sixers.
And right now they're all like they're all eye level.
Yeah,
all eye level.
The Celtics are starting to gel. The Raptors have looked good from the beginning of the season. The Eastern Conference playoffs are going to be intense.
And Giannis. Oh man, we didn't even talk about Giannis. The East is going to be so much fun this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey Jamar, hi Mikey, huge fan of the show. My question for you guys today is, do you think that the current Duke basketball team could beat Michigan's 1991 Fab Five?
We would like to thank you for the question, and we love that you support the show and that you are doing everything we ask, like asking us questions. And so let me get into it. Duke basketball versus that 91 Fab Five team. Duke has been balling this year, don't get me wrong. The fact that they have Cam Reddish as their third option. Zion Williamson is more than what we expected in college. But I will have to go with no. I would have to fare with the Fab Five in this discussion. Jamar, the way it
are you crazy? Face, what? The Fab Five could be this Duke team?
Yeah.
Who's guarding Zion?
Chris Webber. Who stops Chris Webber?
Zion. No, what? Zion's way bigger than... The man's 285.
Cool.
The man's 285.
They couldn't stop him in the league.
I'm sorry?
Webber wasn't getting stopped in the league. He was rookie of the year.
No, okay.
Juwan Howard, 6'9",
Listen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking bad on the Fab Five.
Jalen Rose, 6'8",
I know basketball. I'm just saying, with the athleticism that this Duke team has, with the three-point shooting that this Duke team has, you just mentioned, let me ask you this. Does the Fab Five have a better big three in college, both at that time? Not what they aspired to be at that time. Do they have a better big three than R.J. Barrett, Zion Williamson, and Cam Reddish?
It depends on how they go. Because remember, Harry Giles was supposed to be a star. Wait, let me say why.
The answer is no.
They played but we're not playing together.
But we're talking about the teams versus each other. So we're talking about this college team versus that college team. What I'm saying is, we're not talking about what Juwan Howard and the rest of them turned out to be. No, I'm not saying that.
But there's a chance that these Duke players fall off. There's a chance that Zion Williamson's jump shot returns to what it was,
Mikey,
what it used to be.
What did I tell you about lying to the people, Mikey? What did I tell you about
Zion Williams has
You're lying
do you think Zion has a consistent jump shot?
Do I think that? No. Has it been consistent so far this season?
Through 5 games.
But we're having this discussion right now.
I'm going to take the team that got to the national championship.
Mikey Garcia.
Michigan got to the national championship
right
game.
Now in time.
Michigan got to the national championship game. They balled.
Come on, Mikey. In what aspect would the Fab Five team?
They would lock them down.
Defensively?
Yeah.
Which team's more athletic?
Do you want
answer the question? Just answer my question. I'm just asking a question.
Zion's really the only one that's crazy. Zion and RJ are the only ones that are crazy athletic.
So which team has better shooters?
I'll go with Michigan.
No, why are you lying? See, this is what I'm talking about, Mikey. You're lying to the people. How does Michigan?
Who shoots on that team?
RJ, Cam. The other
Trey? Trey's nothing special. His last name is Jones and his brother's Tyus. Nothing special.
Hey man, they weren't even shooting that much. Who shoots on the Fab Five team?
They got the two white kids off the bench. They look in the 5-5 interviews. They or in the the 30 for 30. Like they were on the team for 2 reasons: GPA and shooting.
No, but I definitely think no.
So all right, who stops Jalen Rose? Who do they put on?
Who stops Zion? Who stops Zion?
Wait, let me ask you this: Who do they put on Jalen Rose?
Okay, let me
that. Jalen Rose is 6'8". Who do they put on Jalen Rose? Do they put 6'3" Trae Young? No, they don't.
Multiple people.
Who? Like who?
Okay, they can put RJ on it.
All right, then who do they put on Juwan?
Zion.
Then who do they put on Chris?
You can work.
Then who do they put on Jimmy King?
Okay, so let me ask you: who's the best player out of those 2 right now?
Chris
right
Webber.
now, come on, Mikey.
Chris Webber was.
Okay. Is there a better big 3 in this series than Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, and Cam Reddish? Do not lie.
At the moment, it doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Now, the supporting cast is what really matters. We've seen Jason Tatum.
It don't matter if it's a 30-point game.
Wait, didn't Kentucky have Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker, Willie Cauley-Stein, and they lost?
No, I'm sold.
Right?
I'm sold.
They lost?
But I was ever sold on one of those players. That's it.
Who?
I forget his name.
Devin?
Yeah, Devin Booker.
He came off the bench.
That's the only one I was. But that's the only
Cat
one.
was unstoppable in college.
I was never. Watch the last episode. I was never big on Cat. Ever.
In college, he was looking like a stud.
Listen.
No one stopped him in college.
Listen.
But that's the thing.
I'm taking Duke. Duke's.
I'm gonna go with here. Also, let me say this: Chris Webber, 19, 10, and 5. 5 blocks. His last year. 5 blocks. They led.
Didn't she say? She said 1991. So.
Yeah. 5 blocks.
His last year, so that's irrelevant, right?
So that means that he took that step. It was a very minimal step.
But we're not talking about that step. See, this is why.
Game. Listen, they were in the championship game.
We're talking 1991
Back-to-back
1991. We're talking 1991, their first year.
Didn't Navy have them in a 6-point game?
Come on,
Navy was down 6 points with 5 minutes to go.
We're talking 1991
Navy
versus
was down
today.
6.
1991 versus today. Today, their Duke team. Who are you taking?
I'm gonna take Michigan. Like I said, 1991 Michigan's would beat Duke.
Our guest on this episode of the Nothin Show is Leos Grunberger. He has been following basketball since a young age, playing in high school, but eventually deciding to pursue a different path. Leo started up his own sports blog / podcast, Two Guys, All Sports, writing not only about basketball, but collegiate and professional football as well. He's worked with various sports bloggers in the Miami area and is currently a student at Florida State University. Leos, welcome to the show.
What's going on? What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you? So we're going to talk about how you ended up working with Two Guys, All Sports, and what was your path like to get there?
First of all, I just want to shout out one of my good friends, also friends of Jamar, Gianni. He just revealed he's having a baby girl. I just wanted to congratulate him on the show. But yeah, so I'll get back to the topic. So I started off with Two Guys All Sports. I took a short hiatus from school and I went to live at home, and I was just kind of trying to find myself, and like I've always like found myself like having like these different takes on sports, and my friends did. So one day I just sat down with the other guy. So it's Two Guys All Sports. His name's Daniel. So we sat down and we thought of names. We bought like podcast material and just sat down and started recording. I developed a website and it just picked up from there.
Yeah, that's definitely a unique path. So we're gonna add some of your thoughts. Recently, obviously, Jimmy Butler relocated from Minnesota. He's gonna be playing in Philadelphia. What do you think about that?
I think it really helps Philadelphia a lot. They really needed like a closer and an ISO player, and especially a playmaker. Like they already have a playmaker like who can handle the ball with Ben Simmons, but now Jimmy Butler, you can have like last night against Charlotte Hornets, except the Charlotte Hornets, Jimmy Butler down the stretch with like a block and then the game-winning 3. It was just like that's what they were missing, because Ben Simmons can't pull up and shoot. You can get Joel Embiid the ball, but now all they're missing right now is a few key shooters. They lost Bellinelli and Ilyasova in the offseason, and I think they're 1 or 2 shooters away from really contending to win the East.
No, I completely agree. I think it was a great by Philadelphia. I think if they can get acquire some more shooting throughout trades, before the trade deadline, I really think it was a great move for Philly.
Yeah, if they can go get a stretch four like they just lost in Saric, like that, like the upgrade from Covington to Butler, and then a slow downgrade or a slight downgrade is definitely worth it for Jimmy.
Now, recently we also had the occurrence that happened in Golden State. We saw Draymond steal the ball from KD. We saw the argument in which it's been reported that Draymond was not only questioning Kevin Durant's loyalty and his plans for his upcoming free agency, but he was questioning his overall manhood. What do you make of that occurrence?
Well, with that situation, I think this little beef going on really highlights a lot about the Warriors organization, and I feel like there's been a lot of clashing with egos in the past year or 2 years since Kevin Durant's been there, and they've just done a really good job of keeping it low key and not really letting it get out. But I think because it's happening live on TV, yeah, that's what I think. Just because you have so many attitudes and different personalities on the team, it's bound to happen eventually. And
yeah, especially with being as vocal.
Yeah, especially with someone like Draymond, and now you have Boogie Cousins on the team. And
so you think this happens more often than we know? We just haven't been shown it.
Yeah, 100%. Especially I feel like Draymond Green believes all of us do that heading to Golden State was a weak move for Kevin Durant. And to be completely honest, they don't need him. So
I mean, they are champions without him. It's true. They went through him after he had a 3-1 lead on them. So,
but yeah, I mean, and without him, they're the best regular season team of all time.
73.
Yeah, but they still lost without him. And the thing is, let's say he leaves, like, honestly, he could go to around 10 teams in the league, and he's an automatic threat to them. Like, if he went to LA, Houston, Toronto, Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, New Orleans, Indiana, Utah, and Portland, they're automatically a top 3 team. Like, he's that good, and the teams have enough in, like none of those teams there are bad teams. Like, they're all good to mid-level teams. Like, if him and LeBron, him and Harden.
I don't know.
Wait, so you're saying you're saying any team that Kevin Durant goes to is a top 3 team.
Right, but say that again, Leo.
So
Indiana.
Any team that Kevin Durant goes to is a top 3 team. Is that what you're saying?
The teams that not any team, but like any for the most part. No, not any team. There's probably like 10 teams in the league.
Saying like around the
top 10.
Because if we have a player who's like better than Kevin Durant, let's just say LeBron's better than Kevin Durant. Huge debate, but we won't debate it right now. LeBron's on the Lakers, and I don't believe they're a top 3 team in the NBA right now.
No, but I'm saying if
wait. You're saying if KD joined them on the Lakers, they wouldn't be a top 3 team?
No. No, they would be a they'd be the number 1 team.
I'm sorry?
But what? It broke up.
What are you saying?
What happened?
You're saying. Go ahead.
I'm piggybacking that. Mikey was saying that a handful of those teams, if Kevin Durant joined them, would be top 3 teams. So if LeBron joined them, would they also be like a top 3 team? Or like, are you saying that like? Okay,
I see what you're saying. You're saying it's not just KD, it's other people as well.
But that's what I'm saying. Why they need him? They need him to not be there, and they need him there. Because like, if Kevin Durant wasn't on Golden State, maybe LeBron beats them 2 out of 3 times.
I mean, I don't think the argument, it's obvious that KD makes Golden State untouchable. But it's a very interesting point that you brought up, Leos, because that's something that I haven't even thought about. I don't know if you have, Mikey, that maybe this is a reoccurring thing, and maybe that's why it's such a big
Draymond
deal.
for sure is always always barking at somebody. It's probably just, it might be the biggest love and again in public.
So the last thing to bring up, Leos, college basketball. We've seen Duke. They've been insane. We actually received a question from our fans regarding Duke's dominance and whether or not this Duke team right now could beat the Fab Five of 1991. Who are you going with? What's your take on that?
Oh, that's a tough question, but I think we need to see a little bit more. I think we need to see a little bit more from Duke. It's only 3-4 games into the season. I mean, coming into the season, we all knew what they were going to be. They got the top 3 recruits on their team, so like RJ Barrett, Zion, and Cam Reddish, and they're just so dominant this year that I just think you can't really compare like a team from 20 years ago to a team now, like how people compare Michael Jordan's era to LeBron's team. They're just comparing apples to oranges. But I'm going.
I 100% agree. I think basketball, the game has evolved, and to be completely honest, I think straight up, just as technology evolves, just as time evolves, the game evolves. And it's just a fact that the aggregate skill level, the average player now is way better than the average player 20 years ago. And again, there's many contributions to that. Medicine, technology, people are training longer, people know how to train better. All of that stuff, it equals to a better aggregate league. Yeah. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if we had to just like pick between the Fab Five and this Duke team, I would go with the Duke team just because of like their athleticism. I believe they're like 20 times more athletic than that Fab Five team that can run them down the court and just like destroy them.
I agree with you. That's what I chose as well. I chose the Duke team because of their athleticism as well as their shooting too. They're the better shooting team as well.
Yeah, I mean Zion is insane.
I'm hesitant on Duke just because it's 5 games into the year, and we've seen several teams supposed to be like fantastic and be 5 games in and then like drop it off. But I think, like you said, I need to see more Duke. I just want to watch more Duke basketball.
Oh, who doesn't?
Yeah, Exactly. So we would really like to thank you for hopping on with us and doing the interview with us. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Leos, and
No
we
problem.
wish you nothing but the best with Two Guys All Sport. We hope that we can
Thanks for
continue
having
this
me.
partnership between Nothing But Net and Two Guys All Sport and work together in the future.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
The youngest of the three Ball brothers, LaMelo Ball, has returned to the United States to play high school basketball. So LaMelo left Chino Hills, went and played in Lithuania, and then went and played in the JBA, and now he's returned to Save Ohio basketball. He has gone to Spire Institute. Jamar, what is your take on this?
It's funny that you say Save Ohio basketball because his father actually said that he is the biggest high school prodigy ever. And immediately, you know me, being a LeBron fan, I was immediately taken back, like, Save, what are you talking about? But when you think about it, he might have a legitimate point. Jordan wasn't big in high school. Bron
was big. But
he was big, but he wasn't big
like his
globally.
area. Yeah.
He was big. He was the next Jordan. Everyone knew he was about to be the next best player. But as far as Melo has played overseas, he has a worldwide reckoning. He has his own show.
He has his own shoes, baby.
He has his own shoes.
He got the shoes.
So, and strictly because social media is much bigger now, all of those things combined, he might actually be the biggest high school prodigy ever. And when I first read the news, I was happy because honestly, I do want to see. I root for everyone's success. I do want to see them succeed. They have very interesting ways trying to make it. They're trying to do good things. The JBA, the concept of the JBA is literally what the NBA is trying to do with the G League.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what they should have been doing with the G League.
Which we've been clamoring for
exactly.
a while.
But it took for them to make the JBA for the NBA to do that. So the Ball family has some great ideas. I truthfully wish for success. I don't appreciate the fact that they are going out of a game against Cole Anthony. If you guys remember, on one of the first episodes, I mentioned that Cole Anthony is actually my favorite high school player right now, and I would love to see him match up against LaMelo, but I do think it's going to be great for him and his family.
Yeah, since LaMelo went there, two powerhouses have canceled. Lemire, where Keon Brooks, a 5-star recruit, has backed out of a game because we don't play teams that have professionals. And Oak Hill backed out because of eligibility issues. It just sounds like they don't want LaMelo to go and drop 40 on him. Because when LaMelo, remember, Oak Hill's a team that beat LaMelo and LiAngelo that broke the streak.
Yeah.
And LaMelo got injured, LiAngelo got injured, LaMelo balled. Now, one team has come forward saying they want to play them. And that's Kyrie Walker's Hillcrest.
I would love
Kyrie
to see
Walker versus LaMelo?
I would love to see that matchup, and I love that he's taking it on because I'm sure the coaches are in great communication with their star players, and he's saying, no, let me get out
Let me get him.
And obviously, Melo has professional experience, right?
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
I mean, he already looks smooth, but he just looks like he's on cruise control.
He's
just
defined his game. Easy. Basketball has been his sole focus for the past couple of years. So it's going to be great to see him back in high school, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
As Mikey mentioned in our introduction, we are going to be getting back to our question to the fans, and the subject for this one is Carmelo Anthony. Now, unfortunately, his time has come to an end with the Rockets. We've seen his time obviously come to an end with the Thunder recently, and there have been some opinions circulating from both current and former NBA players that Melo's kind of getting blackballed by the league. Now, in my personal opinion, as I've told you, I think he needs to retire. I think he needs to, not because he can't play. I'm sure he can still play. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time. Yeah. But whether or not he is getting blackballed by the league, he is tarnishing his legacy. And if he cares about his legacy, he needs to retire and go play elsewhere. So my question to you and my question to the fans is Melo getting blackballed by the league, or is he just simply done?
I think it's a little bit of blackballing. I think he's just an easy scapegoat at this point in his career. Now, I think another issue is I would like to see him go back to the Eastern Conference if he continues to play. I think the Western Conference pace is too fast and too up and down for what he's accustomed playing to, and especially at this point in his career. It's hard to make that transition when you're not as athletic and as spry as he once was. But the fact that he can go and score, and the fact that he can do it consistently, he's a big body and he can rebound, he can do things, I think it's a little bit of a blackballing. It's not the same with Allen Iverson because Allen Iverson was he was still balling.
Right.
Carmelo's just that step back, and in theory his play style should fit. Just he's a little bit of a ball stopper, so when it's like teams that have two isolation players and everyone else passes around, it sort of throws into the mix, which with the Rockets were two players playing in isolation
but the
and
rest
everyone else would swing. And then when Carmelo got it, he would hold it for like that extra second or two to see if he wanted to do something, and then got rid of it.
So in my opinion, I think it's multiple things. One, he cannot come off the bench. It's certain players that can't do it mentally, and I know we both called for it, follow Manu Ginobili and all that, but Manu also
did it like his whole time.
And
Carmelo's been starting since age 5.
Been a star, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what it is to start, and he can't come off the bench. And I don't think that was working well in Houston, even though I think it could if they gelled, but I think they pulled the plug very early, which shows me that maybe it's a little bit of blackballing, but again...
Especially when Eric Gordon's playing
I think he's done. Because even if it is blackballing, because he's never won a championship, people are going to look at these years. And people are going... When you're a multiple champion, your legacy's set. LeBron's legacy is set. Mm-hmm. He can't really do anything in Lakers besides win a championship or do completely terrible that'll really alter his legacy.
Yeah.
He's set. Carmelo Anthony has had very little postseason success, so these years matter. So if he goes from team to team, whether or not it's blackballing or whatever the case is, if he consistently continues to be a scapegoat and people blame them for their failures, then it just tarnishes his legacy.
And with that, we conclude the 10th episode of the Nothing But Net Show. And we would like to thank each and every single one of you that's gone to this point with us, whether it be in the episode or throughout our journey going from being just a podcast to this, honestly.
Yeah, and as always, we want to encourage you guys to provide feedback. Mm-hmm. If you like this, if you don't like this, just let us know, because that's how we grow and get better as a show. I want to remind you guys to like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and follow us on social media. On Facebook and Instagram, we are at The Nothing But Net Show, and on Twitter, we're at The NBN Show.
And don't forget, our merchandise just dropped, so hit us on any of those social media. Let us know what size you want, and whether you want the long sleeve or the hoodie, or both if you really love us.
If you got it like that, definitely get both. But thank you all, and that's it for today. We'll see you next time.